Okay. Now you've disappeared for some unknown reason. There you are, over here. Wow. OBS is just being a dick today. Hi, everybody. Matt Geary for Geek Pride here, in a very disorganized Geek Pride cast because my OBS is playing up and for some reason wasn't doing audio and then doesn't want to do visuals and generally being a douche. But yes, anyway, welcome to the Geek Pride cast on this Thursday evening. I am your Geek Lord host, Matt Geary. And this week I am joined by three other nerds. We have, from left to right, Dave Foy.
Hey up, how's it going?
John Joe Cosgrove.
Good evening, everyone.
And Daniel to the Delargy.
Hello, hello, hello.
What up, gentlemen? So, Dave,
Hello.
haven't been on for a while. What's up, man?
Oh, I haven't been. No, it's been a while. You've been, you've been convorting with other people. You know, Juliet has sort of become your main squeeze on the podcast now. So
Well,
hey.
Dave, I've always got eyes for you, man. But you just not been replying to my messages. You know, you just sort of sent you flowers. You get returned letters. You know.
I'm playing hard to get, man. Playing hard to get.
You don't even look at my dick pics, man.
Sound like proper lovers tiff here.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus.
Okay, so before we move on to the matter in hand, which is going to be microtransactions and whoa, no wait, we've got a video, Dave. We've got a video,
Yay.
Dave.
For once,
let me just
my webcam's actually working.
Let me just change the look so we can see Dave in all his glory.
Yo.
Yeah, there we go.
Give it a change from Hacksaw, you know.
Alright, okay. This will be the... Okay. There we go. Do this up here. So, they're gone. Ba-dunk-ga-dunk-ga-dung. Ga-dunk-ga-dunk-ga-dung.
I can turn it off as too much hassle, like, but
No.
I finally got my webcam working, so I thought.
No. Don't you worry. Don't you chicken curry, son. Don't you chicken curry. We're just sort of... We're just doing things so we can see everybody. And there we go. Right, so Dave, everybody, how have things been this week? Anything interesting happened to you? No.
Deafening.
Yeah,
Not everyone
right.
jumping at once.
Deafening silence. Okay.
I will say I've been playing Rocket League over the last couple of days because that's just come out on Nintendo Switch and it's actually bloody fun. I've never played it before and it's a real good game actually.
It is good fun.
Probably the best game that came out on PS4 last year, to be honest. It's so playable, so much fun. People kind of throw it away. People kind of toss it aside in terms of like a sort of like a game, like a what to say, like a new next gen game, but it's probably a better version of FIFA than FIFA.
The only issue I have with Rocket League is that for the last 2 years at Play Expo we've had a Rocket League tournament. And I never want to see Rocket League ever again. Literally, that's all we've been playing. And it's 2 days, so that's 4 days worth. And it would have been from 12 o'clock each day till 5 o'clock. So you're like basically 20 hours worth of Rocket League non-stop. And yeah, I just never wanted to see that game ever again. And or all the different cars, all the different things that people wanted, all the settings, and people moaning about how they wanted to change the settings. I was like, I don't care.
We did in the first year. We did get some really good people like doing it in the league in the little competition we ran. Like, just.
But you do. The thing is, the kids are amazing at it. Like, there was some of the winners this year. Can't be more than sort of like 10 or 11, and they were wiping the floor with everybody. There was these two fellas who were probably about my age and stuff, and they were doing quite well. And then these two kids who'd been waiting all day to get on it, their parents were there, just came on and obliterated everybody, like literally just won every single game. Nobody was getting past them, and it was just at the end we went, just take everything. There you go, you can have all these prizes, let's go. But yeah. cool. Okay, so
Makes a change from beat 'em ups, I suppose.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it
In
does.
terms of competitive games.
Yeah, I was trying to think of other things. I was like, what can we do? What can we do that hasn't already been done? Now, Rocket League is always busy, so in a way, it's a good thing because it gets people around our booth and sort of, around sort of Geek Pride and stuff. But it's so tiring. It's so tiring. And the worst thing is when the game stops and then you're just like, oh, right, so it's stopped now, and then you're just like, ah. Right.
Surprised you did do Injustice too.
Oh, yes.
Well, I was thinking that. The problem is, Rocket League, you can have 4 people playing at once, you see, so we could get more people in. Whereas Justice, you can...
yeah. So that would mean, yeah. Because I was just going to say for the next time, maybe switch it up with Fighters, because that's looking to be a good game. Yep. Although, I hope to God microtransactions don't find their way into that one.
Oh, what a good segue!
What a segue!
It's like you meant to do that, Daniel. It's like you meant to do that. Okay, so it's nicely segueing into an actual topic for tonight instead of just sort of winging it and hoping
planned
for the
conversation.
best. Planned conversation. So yeah, the conversation is microtransactions and loot crates within games. Now, we did a quick sort of poll today. I'll see where it is. It's pretty categorical. The question was a simple one. It was
Darth Maul versus Darth Vader.
Yeah,
that was yesterday.
Darth Maul won, and currently between Chuck Norris and Mr. T. Chuck Norris is obviously winning quite.
Sorry, can I just say who voted for Vader over Darth Maul? I mean, what?
I know. I thought, man,
Darth Maul would have kicked his ass.
Darth Maul. Darth Maul
basically defeated 2 Jedi Masters.
Yeah.
Well, one and a half.
Yeah, but if you've watched Rebels, you see that spoiler that he does pretty shit, and he loses to an old Obi-Wan Kenobi.
To be fair, he is aging himself. He's
but
he was chopped in half, and he's been around.
We're already
canon.
We're already deviating.
Yeah, Rebels is canon.
Right,
already deviating.
Same as the new Battlefront game is apparently the story mode in that is canon as well.
If you can get it, Jesus.
Right, so the poll, we'll get back on the topic for once, instead of running off into something new and never getting back onto it again. The poll was, flash poll, simple, are they a good thing? And we're talking about microtransactions and loot crates. Now, you got 10% of people have said yes, and 90% of people have said no. Now, there is a fair few comments.
Sorry, did that 10% work for EA?
Yeah. Well, in the defense, there's a few, because for some reason, you can't sort of have more than one poll, so more than 2 sort of kind of things in the polls on Facebook for some reason, which is annoying. So yeah, it was just a case of had to be yes or no. But yeah, I think there was a couple of grey areas in that. From what I've seen in the comments, and I'll read some of them out in a bit when everybody's had said their piece, but general view is that if they're cosmetic, there's not really a massive issue for it. But if it's pay to win, then there is a big issue, and there's a lot of hate with that. That being said, there are a fair few people saying that they don't have problems with it. So we'll open it up to the floor. We'll also open it up to anybody in Facebook, Twitch, anybody in the chat. So if you're watching at this moment in time, so if you're on YouTube or if you're on Twitch or if you're on Facebook, please let us know what you think about sort of microtransactions. I've got Stuart Klazinga, who's put a picture on, let's just see what it is. But oh no, it's basically Darth Maul. It says Wrecking Maul for the win. And there's a video here. Oh, Wrecking Maul, the song, brilliant. All right, we'll maybe play that later. I shouldn't really click random links that people put in the comments and show people, because you never know what that shit's going to be. But yes, anyway, if you're in comment land and you have an opinion on this, on microtransactions, for or against. I would actually be quite interested to hear the for, because I'm guessing they're going to be in the minority. But please let us know by typing in the comments. So first up, Dave, since you haven't been here, views, please.
On microtransactions. I wouldn't go as far as saying that they're ruining the games industry, but it's definitely posting a dark cloud over sort of AAA gaming nowadays. Can
I just stop you there for a minute, Dave? Whoever's typing, I'm guessing it's you, Daniel. Stop it.
Stop me for once. Stop me for once.
Stop it now.
All right.
Yeah. And carry on, Dave.
That's okay. No, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. As I said, I wouldn't go as far as saying that it's ruining gaming. I know a lot of people, especially in response to the EA the Reddit post that everyone went apeshit about. I wouldn't go as far as saying that, but I definitely think it's becoming more and more of an issue. I mean, it's to be expected with mobile gaming. I mean, mobile gaming, free to play, where they release these games and it's all about getting people in and trying to hook them and trying to make their money back through these microtransactions. That's grand, but the issue that I have is where you're already paying 50, sometimes 60, sometimes £70 for a game, but then included within that game is the microtransaction system, the loot box system. So it's just game developers being greedy, trying to have the best of both worlds. Again, if it's an optional extra, as you said from the top, if it's purely cosmetic, if you're one of these types of weird ass people who likes to buy emotes for their characters or wants to buy different types of uniform, fair balls to you, go for it. If you want to spend actual money on it,
fair balls.
Exactly, man. It's an Orlando thing, man. You probably haven't heard that in a while.
Yeah, but I was gonna say fair balls.
That's what you get for living in England too.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, if you want to buy purely cosmetic reasons, excellent. That's fantastic. But when it comes to using the example of Battlefront 2, where in the previous game, all of the heroes were all open to open right away. It was just simply a matter of you picked up your token. Yeah. So it was open to everyone. So the people paying £50 or £60 for the game got a chance to play with those characters who were in a lot of ways the bread and butter of the game. Whereas EA trying to be sneaky, putting in the option where you have to unlock them after a while, or you can pay up front for them. It's just underhanded. But I mean, it isn't just EA. Well, I wouldn't say it's EA's fault, but I mean, it's not just in these sorts of games like COD or Battlefront, or not really in Battlefield 1. I know you could buy the crates and so on, but I mean, even if you look at FIFA, if you look at Ultimate Team for FIFA, I mean, that has been fleecing people for years. It's
World of Tanks has been doing it for years. Yeah. Technically, World of Warcraft has as well. So,
yeah, but are those games not free to play? I mean, if you I play, for example, like I played The Simpsons, the Tapped Out game. I've been playing that for a couple of years now, just as a wee thing on my phone. But like, there are a shitload of microtransactions in that. I refuse to do that because I just can't be fucked. But I know that people can do that if they really want to do it.
So are you saying that are you pretty much saying that if the game's free, then microtransactions aren't really a massive issue because they have to make their money somewhere?
Yeah.
But if you're paying
but again, it's
70, 80, 90 quid for a game and then getting microtransactions, then there's where the issue lies.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like even taking it away from microtransactions. Look at look at expansion packs that are for the average AAA game, whereas years ago when you had a PS2 or even a PS3 or whatever, you bought a game, you paid your £50, you got a game, and it was the game, it was the whole game. Whereas now it's this drip release where the season pass every single AAA game will have a season pass. It will release extra content, which would have been included in the overall game a couple of years ago, but now it's an easy way for the company to gain more money out of consumers, and it is just very, very underhand.
It is. I've got a few comments here, so I'll read some out and then we'll get back to that. So Trey I apologise, I get your name wrong, mate, but Trey Sandbooth, Mike Sandbooth, I'm going to go for Sandbooth. Microtransactions and loot boxes in free-to-play are okay. Cosmetics are less okay, but still at least it's more mandatory to win. It's not mandatory to win. The other ways are just lazy ways to take your money without actual effort. Connor Cantrell, that's my girlfriend's brother, says Darth Vader is better than Darth Maul. And Stuart C. Klasinga says, is Matt Lucas actually here? Question mark. No.
Yeah, he is. He's just staying quiet.
Matt Lucas is not here.
He's shy. He's shy.
Yeah, but no, but.
And then Trey has said again, especially within the Activision's, I'll speak English now, especially with what Activision's doing with their new patents, making it so players are purposely matched with others with more powerful weapons just to make them want to buy better weapons. Now, I obviously don't know if that's true or not. Trey, if there's any sort of evidence of that, but if that's true, then that is bad. That is really bad and underhanded. And to be honest, I think that's what's sending people over the edge at the minute.
I do know that with the Battlefront game, there is the system where with the loot boxes, you're buying cards. And when you're killed, you get to see not only who killed you, but what their setup is. So you essentially get given a sneak peek of, oh, look at these. Look at the cards that they have. Look at the cards that they paid for. Buy more, and you could be like that. I have seen some stuff like that. I don't know if it's sort of like close. If that comment is correct with the whole matching people up, because I have no idea how matchmaking works, how the programming behind that works. As far as I'm concerned, it's all random. But that aspect of in a game, if you're killed by someone because they have better equipment, the game is purposely set up in a way to show off that better equipment and go, you could have had this. You could have this.
Now, the sort of defense is that microtransactions have been around quite substantially for a while. Like I said, like World of Tanks, World of Warcraft in a way. Any app game you've had, there are a lot of them being microtransactions and things. They're companies, they need to make money to give you a better immersive game. As it is, this is and I think EA sort of epitomized this sort of a money grab quite a lot. What Dave was saying earlier about how originally in Battlefront Run, now I wasn't a massive fan of the first Battlefront, and I was kind of hoping this next one would be a lot better. Now, there is a single player campaign, which I'm looking forward to. But you could, in the original one, just rock up, grab a token, and you could become who you wanted. You didn't have to spend what is apparently allegedly, is it like 4,000 hours and $2,500 to unlock everything in the game.
It's either 40 hours worth of grinding over online players, because they've locked how much you can earn per day in the arcade mode by yourself. But I do know that if you sort of like do consecutive, like straightforward 24-hour grinding, it takes you about 40 hours to get up to the most expensive one, which is Vader. Which, now this is the thing, after the whole controversy, they reduced the price. However, what they didn't say was they also reduced the amount of credits you earn. So, like, they reduced the cost of Vader by 75%. They also reduced the amount of credits you got by completing the campaign by 75%.
That is so bad.
That is so underhanded. Like, I mean, I had heard about the reduction, the grinding hours for each of the characters, and I thought, you know what, fair play to EA. Or I don't think it's really even EA. It's more
DICE, is it?
DICE, yeah. I kind of thought, right, fair play. At least they've listened to the criticism that they were receiving and thought, right, we'll back down a little bit. But that is just ridiculous. Of course, they're going to promote the positive thing they're doing, but no, they're going to, do another little underhanded change in the background. That's
EA
ridiculous.
have been a running joke for this sort of thing. They've been on South Park and stuff like that, sort of them taking, and, I've played EA games and never thought about it, but, it's so bad. It really is just absolutely insane. I love Star Wars and I want to play the game, but it's just, it's tainted it slightly for me. And just sort of microtransactions in general. Now, don't get me wrong, I play World of Tanks on my phone when I'm a bit bored, and I don't really buy that much. Now and again, I'll pay for it, but it's free to play. I'm not spending very much on it. I think I've spent maximum probably about a tenner, on it and stuff, within, a month of playing it and stuff like that. But I generally go in, get a tank, do some bits and pieces, and that's it. But when I'm going to play, sort of, for example, the new Call of Duty, it was like 70 or 80 quid or something for like the all singing, all dancing, everything game. And then there's sort of, microtransactions on top of that. And you're just like, whoa, wait a minute. This doesn't ring true. I'm not sure if I'm cool with this at all. It's just, it's upsetting. And it makes me not want to play games. It's actually sort of, it's like that feeling, and I get it back, when I was a WoW addict, when I was a WoWaholic, and I just didn't want to play sort of games anymore afterwards because of that. I'm getting that sort of same sort of feeling with these sort of games. It's just like, I don't want to play them because, one, I've got an addictive personality, and there's a lot of people with addictive personalities, and all you have to do is look around me. I have zero self-control when it comes to stuff like this. So if you put me in an instance where I'm like getting cool stuff, I'm like money, blah, and then I feel guilty afterwards and feel bad, and I don't get anything out of it really. Yeah. And it just
that's
makes me
a
not
big
want to play
part
them.
of this microtransaction thing is the fact that it is gambling. It's glorified electronic gambling because you're not paying for certainty of content. You're paying for the chance to win that content with sort of like loot boxes and whatnot. You have the randomized table where you can get something that you already have, and instead of refunding you, they go, oh, we'll convert this into less than you can earn through the loot box, which I think, because you can earn straight credits in the loot box, and I think that's just bizarre. That's just,
I think, see, what they've done is they've done this whole thing where they've been a bit sneaky, where they've kind of gone, we've listened to the fans, and we've got more things you can do, and we've got a single player campaign, and you can do more. And you can beat all of these sort of amazing heroes from the game that, from across different sort of generations of Star Wars. And everybody's like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then what they've done is, instead of, like you used to be able to do, just jump into it and it was free, you've got to grind. And even if you grind, you're not automatically going to get that guy because you can only have one on a map at a time. So, it's like, yeah, it's first come, first serve, basically.
I don't think it's even really the issue of, of thinking that you're automatically going to, oh, fuck it, I'm going to be the Emperor all the time or something like that. I mean, it's the mode of the game. If you played the original Battlefront games, and even Battlefront 1 last year, there is that knowledge that these characters are an additional part of the game. You're unless you're playing the specific hero mode, but it's you're playing as a normal trooper, and then it's the random chance that you could pick up one of the tokens and you could become the character, and then you can use their powers then to help your team win. I have no way. I think that's a great dynamic. I think I would rather do that than just automatically go, right, someone's going to be Luke Skywalker every single match, or someone's going to be Boba Fett every single match, because then the game is on, it's weighted, unfairly to one side. But I think
You go
Right,
first.
how much better would it be if you could actually just have like 20 people on the map and just everyone is Luke Skywalker? That would be fun.
Or not
as
even
hell.
that. You could just have Jedis, couldn't you? It didn't even have to be Luke Skywalker. You could move them. It could just be Jedis running around hitting
Generic
each other.
Jedi.
I used to play the Battlefront game, but I didn't have a console, so I played it on my PSP. And I remember sort of like the system they had for the heroes, where it wasn't sort of like the Battlefront 1 2015 version where you got to a power point. It was sort of like the old, you basically get up to a certain kill count without being shot out and destroyed yourself. And then you got the opportunity to upgrade. And I just think, why get rid of that? I understand they're trying to make something new. And it's interesting sort of like how they sort of like the progression. But somewhere along that line, someone should have gone, this seems like a step back.
They've just thought they've seen how successful these things are on mobile gaming, and they've gone cash cow. And the thing is, you know, people will, because a lot of people have addictive personalities. A lot of people will literally just go, I need all of this stuff, and they will just rinse you for it. And there's no, in a way, it is like gambling. Like it's gambling by another name. And this whole sort of like, I think, what's it? The Gymquisition. He was talking about it, and he's saying sort of, you know, it is basically gambling by another name. They're not using real cash. They're using fake cash, but it's still the same thing.
Still real money.
And you know, there is addiction, and it's dangerous. And I know, like, I know EA, I know Battlefront's getting picked on a lot at this moment in time. When
I was going to say,
there are a lot of other games that do this as well, but it's just obviously because they've been so brazen about it recently, and it's a big game, and therefore it's a bit more out in the open there.
For fair play, and you sort of like were talking about World of Tanks earlier. I think we should sort of like spread out to talk about more other games that we've played where that aspect has come in, not necessarily mobile games, because that's something I'd like to cover. Sort of like, because I think transactions in a freemium game where it's free to play, that is where you can have transactions. I play Star Wars Heroes Galaxy just because I like it, and my little cousin loves it whenever I'm over or he's over, because he gets to play as Darth Vader and just sort of like see him messing about. There are some characters I can't get because they are hidden behind a very steep paywall, and that does kind of irritate me. But I am able to get enough in that freemium game that it's still an enjoyable experience, and I will just sort of like waste a couple of minutes just sort of like having my own personal team of Jedis just going, yes.
yes. Yeah. We've got comments here with this fire, and we're getting actually quite a few now. So just let me fire these on here. It's Stuart and Trey are both saying the same thing here. They're saying, Stuart said they filed a patent. Doesn't mean it's implemented yet. However, it does show that level of their greed and avarice. Ooh, avarice, that's a good word. He's talking about, obviously, Activision there. Also, we have... I
was just going to say, in terms of Activision, to be honest, putting that issue aside, I think the thing that Activision need to be called upon more than anything is releasing half unfinished games.
That's the most annoying thing ever, man.
I mean,
like...
the shit they've been pulling with Assassin's Creed over the years is just ridiculous. Oh, sorry, that's Ubisoft. Sorry, I'm mixed up here. Yeah, some of the Call of Duty games have just been woeful in terms of the launch. They've just come out and they've been. You can tell that they're still working on it, and the amount of day one patches that are entered on, it's just. I suppose a lot of companies are guilty of that.
Do you know what put me off? I've got the new Call of Duty, and I'm playing it, there's two things, and I'm sorry, this is a bit of a sidetrack, but two things that sort of put me off not playing it as much. One, because they had a chance to do something different, and they thought, right, we'll go back to our roots, we'll do World War II. And it comes in, and it's like 1939, World War II starts, and then pretty much throws you onto the beaches of Normandy in 1944, and it's just like, come on, there's like 5 years worth of stuff you could have done there, and you could have had different characters doing different things, like like you did in Modern Warfare, where you could be Soap, or you could be like the American soldier who gets down to the chopper, or you could be Price or something like that. Different things.
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's lazy. I mean, the reason why obviously call it or going back to World War II is because last year and the success of Battlefield 1 compared to Infinite Warfare, and everyone just thinking, oh my god, like Battlefield have went back and done something really original. Who would have thought to do a World War I game? And so they shit themselves and they thought, right, we'll go back and we'll do a World War II game. I have no issue with that at all, but looking at the game and the storyline of the game, it's just lazy. You're absolutely right. It's like immediately, as soon as you think of World War II, it's Normandy beaches, storming the beaches,
and it's
Saving
so
Private
generic.
Ryan.
It's exactly the same, because you think the same things. You go, right, this boat's going to get hit. They're going to have to go over the side. He's going to go in the water. Right. Somebody's going to get hit.
I know it's promoting another site, but Eurogamer did this fantastic video. Ian Hink did a great video, and it's essentially comparing the start of Battlefield World War II, comparing it to Medal of Honor Allied Assault, Medal of Honor Frontline, and what was the other one? Call of Duty 2. And essentially, they're identical. They're absolutely identical. It's it is just Saving Private Ryan. They're on the boat. Someone vomits. They look across. One of the boats gets shot or gets blown up. Then they get onto the beach, and there's the boat that gets set on fire, and there's a soldier coming out of the boat on fire and jumping in the water, and going up the beach and finding someone with no face and all. It's lazy.
And then they put zombies in it, and then they just go, and zombies. And you're just like,
do
what?
Operation Market Garden. Do something different.
Because there was
do Band of Brothers. You know what I mean?
What,
use Band of Brothers as a thing.
What was it? What was the original sort of World War II game? Where Medal of Honor. Because Medal of Honor did a Market Garden one, which was pretty good. So, okay, a few more comments here. Quite a big few comments here. Stuart has said, Jim Sterling and Sid Alpha have both done videos on the Activision patent. I also agree with Jim 100% when it comes to microtransactions. Haven't agreed with him for years. Stuart has also said, and in Overwatch, for example, you can get duplicate items which result in more credits, but you don't even get the same value for the item costs. Like the item costs 1k credits and you get it as a duplicate. The loot box, you only get 250 or 500 credits. I don't remember the fraction, but it's terrible. Trey says, yes, but Activision can get away with it. What kind of message does this send the other developers? And it's true. You can get away with it. That's what it's saying. Hey guys, we can print money. Here you go. Stuart said, do we do what Stick of Truth and Fractured Butthole did? If the game isn't done, delay it. Both those games had huge delays and both came out nearly pure gems in the end, which is very true. I don't, I'm very much the same. If a game's not right, don't release it.
Don't release it, yeah.
But the thing is, but again, it's down to the whole thing is they know they can release these games. They know people will moan about them. They'll make fixes, and then they'll just charge extra for DLC to fix it. So they'll go, right, okay, we'll fix it, because that's what people are used to. We're basically pigeons hitting that little pellet feed thing, and they'll do it.
They try to get away with it with patches, and I think it is okay to fix your game on the fly. But when it is so broken to the fact that you need multiple patches, one after the other, after the other, after the other, you have to basically look at yourself and admit, this should not have been released. And there are a couple of games where people have just not, patches weren't available, and the game suffered. And people just this should not have been released. They didn't release a patch for it. They apologized for it. It got shoved under the carpet. Sonic 06, big example of that. But the idea now is that if it's unfinished, we can fix it later. We can have patches released. And I feel so sorry for people who don't have internet gaming, because as strange as the concept may be, I know so many people who don't have that. And if they have a game that is broken and they don't have access to the internet to get that patched, they are stuck with a broken game that they bought for 60 quid at minimum, or rather their parent did for their Christmas or birthday present, because they're a 10-year-old kid and they don't really know what the heck.
Bring back cartridges. Bring back cartridges, and if they break, just blow in them. If they break, just take them out, blow in them, stick them back in. Job done. There you go. That's it.
Yeah, say about these games that obviously not got the right support or have not been made properly. A couple of years ago, there was one company tried to do a sequel to the Afro Samurai game, and I played the first Afro Samurai game. I thought it was really good, and I'm a massive fan of the anime. They made the second game, this other studio, and it was by far the biggest piece of shit I'd ever played in my life. It was just terrible. It was just really clunky. The controls were just all over the place. There was no sense of, there was no coherent sense of where they were going. And eventually, after that first part, it was supposed to be first of 3 parts. But 2 weeks later, they said, "Yes, we admit we've messed up, and yes, we will be refunding your money. We will be cancelling the game." And but this is 3 parts for this game. Do you want to have a guess how much they were charging for this game?
40 quid.
30 quid.
Not far off, £28. And yeah, and do you know what they promised in the first? I think before the first part came out, they were saying, "Oh, each part's going to be around 4 to 7 hours of gameplay." And I thought, actually, that's not a bad price if that works out that way. The first part I completed in 75 minutes, and even then, it was about 2 or 3 restarts because it was just so bad. The controls, you're getting killed without even attempting the game. You just you fight / hack your way, and all of a sudden you're just being killed by a non-visible NPC.
It was kind of like The Force Unleashed 2, which I completed within a day. And I was just like, I was so disappointed in that game, because I was just like, oh, what the fuck has just happened here? I've literally just completed this in the day. I've spent 40, 50 quid on this, and it's gone. I know we're kind of going away from the microtransactions.
Yeah,
but these are you do get games like this, and the first Force Unleashed, I think that was quite short as well, but that was still about 8.5 hours gameplay. I think I got out of it, and I loved that game. But yeah, Force Unleashed 2 was just bad, and it was just like rehashing what they'd done before. It was like they come up with a good story, but they didn't know how to continue it. So it was literally 2 stops, 2 different planets. You're at the cloning facility. That's it. Story's over. It's like, be ready for part 3. Yeah, part 3 is not happening, guys.
I remember playing The Force Unleashed on a PSP, and despite sort of like all the bugs and things, one of the things I did like about it was the fact that you could collect alternate costumes. Now, segueing this into costumes in Overwatch, and Valve with their Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2. This idea of microtransactions for cosmetics. I like the idea of costumes being unlockable as you go through the game, like they did with Force Awakens. You didn't have to pay extra for it. It was just either unlockable as you went through the game, or even, because it was back in those days, secret code. You put in the code and got access to looking like, I think one of them was Mace Windu, and loved the fact that you could go around post Clone Wars and the end of things and go, he's alive, I knew he was. But with just one of the things that miffs me about Overwatch is, and Team Fortress 2, with microtransactions to get cosmetics, is I can see the appeal, but I do think that there is one hell of an invisible hand sort of like manipulating the RNG, just the random aspect, so that you either don't get one, or
no, a lot of people
you get multiple of the same and don't get enough of a reward back, because the random clock has spun and you've got the same number.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people will say that, now a lot of people have said, it doesn't matter. Cosmetics are not an issue. If people want to buy new clothes for their characters and new gun skins and things like that, then, work away. But is it not the same sort of principle? I know it's not pay to win, which annoys a lot of people. Doesn't matter what sort of game you're playing. People want to be able to be good at the game to win. But do you not think, in a way, it's still gambling? It's still a hazard, a moral
hazard? Of course,
hazard?
yeah. I know tons of people who have spent money on Overwatch to try and get one skin in particular, and they've got nothing close to it. And just...
My issue with buying skins and stuff, like, I have zero interest in what my gun looks like, to be honest. The only time I've ever sort of done anything like that was playing Destiny, just because I wanted the Geek Pride colors red and white, so I just sort of picked things red and white. But it's just other than that, I have no real interest in what I look like and what my my sort of colors things are and stuff like that. It has zero interest in me. But when people buy stuff online, it's now I have a habit of buying DLC and then not playing it just because the DLC's there, and I've caught myself doing it a few times, DLC's out for that game I used to play, I'll buy it and never play it, and then I'm just wait, what have I got out of this, really? I've got nothing. At least if I buy models, and I buy a lot of models, as you can see from behind me, probably in different sort of states of being made and being painted. At least I have something tangible there that I can sort of eventually do something with, and whereas these things that you're spending a lot of money on, you're not really getting anything, because in a couple of years the console's going to be
obsolete.
Yeah, obsolete.
Obsolete in all of us. I mean, there's a couple of things, man. I mean, firstly, buying that DLC or buying that skin, there's a choice there. You have a choice. You don't have to buy it if you don't want to. It's there. And I think for all loot boxes and all microtransactions, you have a choice. I play a lot of games that have loot boxes in them. Do I buy any? No. So there's that. In terms of, I think there's a differentiation between, as much as I don't like the drip release of DLC and season passes, that actually winds me up a lot more than even loot boxes do. I just hate the way that they're doing this now. I think it was different. Say something like a really great DLC, like something like Far Cry Blood Dragon. That is a whole standalone release. Fair enough, it's an extension, it's a DLC for an already finished game, but it's a completely separate experience, it's a completely separate game. It's the same with something like Fallout 4, where there's the different expansions, the Automatron and stuff like that. They're extensions to the original game. Do I think they should all be included within the same game package when you're paying 50 or 60 quid? Definitely. But I hate this whole season pass mentality, where it give you the biggest example, Star Wars Battlefront 1, where they released the original game and it had 4 maps basically. And then they had these other maps, so they would release a new map every 2 months. Another map would come out, another map would come out. You could tell that they were all bloody finished. They would have probably made them all back when they were building the original game. But instead of releasing them all in one pack, they thought, we'll release expansions for £9.99 every couple of months and make more money that way. So that's in terms of DLC. The one other thing I would say in terms of microtransactions, I forgot to say this earlier on, but in terms of microtransactions, as much as I play to win or buy to win and all that is shit, but I think when you're buying skins or you're buying cosmetic items, but you're using money or you're using currency that you've earned throughout the game. So by winning a map or by killing a certain amount of people in a game, I have no issue at all with that being used to buy stuff. Perhaps not buy to win, but to buy cosmetic stuff and to buy, different guns and stuff like that. Fair play to you. You've earned that currency by playing the game in a good way. But when it comes to actually putting in your credit card or your debit card details and buying stuff, that's where I have the problem, because you're opening it up to people with addictive personalities going, oh shit, I need to have this and I need to have that, and burning through their actual cash.
It's easy though, man. I'll give you a prime example, because I am a sucker for shit like this, and that's why I tend to stay away from it. I have a massively addictive personality, and I can't remember the game. It was an app game, something Titans or something. So basically, it's not Clash of Titans, but it's basically something where you can get like a Titan, you get infantry guys, and they're
Dawn of Titans,
yeah, I think
or
that,
something
yeah.
like that, yeah.
And I was I had a little Geek Pride clan going. I was playing it quite a lot, and then I found myself because you had to buy certain things to protect your land and stuff like that. So all the time I had spent doing things, I couldn't protect that place because people would attack it, and the only way you could do that was putting bubbles around it, and to do that you had to buy them and things like that. And I found myself just literally spending all this money on these things, and I went, why the fuck am I doing this? And I just went, that's it, I'm done. Deleted the app, deleted the game, stopped it. And it was just like, I can't believe I've just wasted that money. That was so pointless. And it was I was so disappointed in myself, but at the time I was just like, I need to play this game, need to get it done. And it was just like, it was horrible, really bad.
It's the thing about freemium games, is that they have that plan where it's like, you can play and have, but then you get to the player v player aspect, and you get people who are paying inordinate amount of cash, who are just decimating other people, or just seriously out leveling you. One of the ones for me that bring forth as an example, as well as Dawn of Titans, is there is actually still a Batman Arkham Underground mobile game where you basically made your own hideout, you unlocked various villains. I'm not entirely sure if there are any villains hidden behind a paywall now. I know that they were unlockable via progression when I had the game, but you had to wait ages to upgrade any of the barracks, henchmen, people, and it just it just took too long, and there was a player v player aspect you had to take part in to reach the next player level, and there were swathes of people who were just out leveling me, and just to all this stuff I could not put a dent in. And that really affected how I viewed the game. And so after a week, I deleted it because I could not get any more enjoyment out of that game. It was
we get that a lot with PvP in general is an issue in itself. Now, even if you didn't have microtransactions, now Call of Duty have been doing this for years, that the longer you play it, the better the weapons you get and the better that you are in the game. But for a new player who comes into the game, you're getting owned all the time, and it becomes less enjoyable. Whereas games like maybe Halo or something like that, where you are always the same, your level doesn't matter, what guns, you're always going to have the same sort of weapons. You can just get different ones, collect them as you're going around the map. I prefer stuff like that. I don't like when I go into a game and I'm at a disadvantage already. It doesn't make me go, I'm going to get better at this game. It just makes me go, fuck this game, I can't be arsed anymore. I'm just going to get owned. I don't come into a game just to get shot dead, getting, no scoped or whatever within 5 seconds and shit. It fucking annoys me. So, it's annoying. Sorry, I've got a few more comments here. Okay, Trey said, I prefer microtransactions over loot boxes. At least with them, you know what you're getting. Stuart says, I like randomized loot, but don't have them as microtransactions. If you need to sell us something, sell us credits, but for stuff or loot packs with set items in them. Stuart has also said, if Overwatch sold credits instead of loot boxes, I'd have less of an issue with it. Now, this is my problem, because it's all about buying stuff. And I think that's where the
Yeah.
issue lies. And I don't think it shouldn't matter if it's cosmetic. It shouldn't matter if it's going to get you new things. That is a dangerous place to be. And, you know, I'm a prime example, and there's going to be a lot of people like me out there who will just throw money at things, you know, without even knowing. You know, it's subconscious in a way. You're literally going, I need that, and you're in a zone, and then you spend a lot of money, and you think, you know, you can get yourself into a lot of debt, and some people have, and I think it's going to get to a point where people need to stand up and go, no, this is enough, and you need to stop doing this. And I'm kind of glad that they're doing this now. I'm glad that people are kicking off about EA and people are kicking off about Star Wars. Now, there's a lot of people who are getting upset because, you know, they love Star Wars. They don't want to see their franchise tarred by this brush. But it's a big game. It's a big franchise, and it is basically what they're doing is wrong, and I feel that they need to do this, and unfortunately Star Wars has to be the platform that is sacrificed for the greater good of everybody else. And I think there needs to be a point where everybody goes, we're not doing this anymore. You're not going to treat us like fucking battery hens. We're not going to sort of pay all this stuff. We just want a finished game that we can play with a good single player, and we don't mind the odd piece of DLC now in a game that's coming out and stuff. You know, they make you want to play the game a bit more. But when it's constant, where it's literally just like this, like you can put so much money into this, you can do this, and you can get all this cool stuff. It's just like that's dangerous, and it needs to stop.
I think before we come off of the microtransactions, I just want to talk about a couple of them that I've seen from games I've played. Don't know how much you probably played of Metal Gear Solid 5. There was this thing that when you have your base and when you expand your base, you could buy... This was a lovely little microtransaction they did. You could buy insurance. So if this is what they did.
In-game insurance.
I swear, this is what they did.
Do they go compare? Or,
they go on the fucking net and everything. Do it. So,
you get a little mascot meerkat.
Have you been in a personal injury accident?
What is it? You buy insurance.
PPI.
So if it comes to a point when in the game you are. Say like your base gets attacked, people get taken. Like so, say the people you've recruited for your cause, they get taken away. They just replace them with new people. You know, that's it. Someone attacks your base. Oh yeah, you know they put reinforcements in to attack them back, and I think
is that how the insurance works?
That's how insurance works on there, anyway.
Also, what was it? Did anyone ask Big Boss if he was so money supermarket at any time?
So money supermarket. Just wanted his cash to go curly. Just go compare. But no, it didn't. The other one, the one that really does get me, is one of my favourite probably one of my favourite games of all time is Mortal Kombat. And I just love, at the end of the game, it goes, finish him. And you just do your whole moves. You know, the buttons are quite intricate, but they do it for a reason. They do it because it's a kind of enjoyment. You know, that you do all that and you cock it up at the last second. You're like, oh, crap, I've just punched him instead of doing the cool finisher. They done microtransactions where you could actually pay to get your finisher move done within 2 buttons instead of doing like the 10 or 12 that would normally be done. And they were charging around about 50p for each one. For a finisher move.
That's fucking bad. Connor Contrell says, I think the DLC for SB2 is free. SB2? What's SB2?
Probably Star Wars Battlefront, I'm assuming.
No.
Oh, it is. Yeah, that's right. There is no season pass this time. It's all everything, but it's obviously
that's right.
Except
for
that, yeah. But that's what they're trying to say. That's what they're trying to use as an excuse for the microtransactions. They're saying, well, it's to cover the fact that we don't have a season pass this year.
Well, see, that's it, and it's underhanded because they're basically, you know, they play a good game. I have to admit, you know, you got hats off to them because, you know, a lot of people are falling for it. They're basically saying, well, you know, everything's bigger. You got more. Granted, it is. It does look like it's a pretty game. And, you know, I'm struggling at this moment in time if I'm going to buy it or not because I love Star Wars. I want to sort of, you know, I want to play it. But they're saying, oh, we got all this free DLC coming out, and all we want from you guys, now and again, a little bit of money for those loot crates and stuff like that. But they know that people are just going to go balls deep on that shit, and it's just going to be, you know, they are just going to make so much money. And it's just like, is it necessary? Is it ethical? That's the thing. Is it ethical?
But
for that
but again, man, it's the question is, are you buying the game to enjoy it, or are you buying the game to win? I mean, it's, you know, I want to, but I do want the game. I do want to play the game because I love Star Wars Battlefront, and I don't. To be honest, I am not the type of person who takes it personally if I get murdered by some 16-year-old online. You know,
yeah.
It's I want to play the game, and if I'm bottom of the table, if I'm bottom half of the table, fuck it. I might every once in a while I might get top half, and that's enough for me. I'm not so egotistical that I need to be winning, that so I need to buy multiple tokens or multiple loot boxes to win every single time. That's not what I'm getting. That's not where I get my enjoyment out of playing the game. So I probably will still get it and enjoy it, and I won't be buying any loot crates. So
well, I think that's a general with any game, to be honest. Like, for example, now out of computer games land, I'm playing a Warhammer 40k tournament this weekend. And there's a lot of people who moan about paying to win in that, because obviously the bigger units you get, the more expensive things that they sell you, have better rules, and therefore it's easier to win in the games. But you get a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of the lists for this weekend and who people are playing with. And there's what they call cheese lists, and it's basically lists designed to win. Now, I appreciate you want to win, it's a tournament, you want to win, but it's that happy medium, but enjoying a game, enjoying, the competition, or is it just win it at all costs? It's what they call a whack, win at all costs. And I don't, like Dave, I don't enjoy that. I enjoy a good win, and when I beat my mates, I'm going, yeah, motherfucker, I beat you, and stuff like that. But if it got to the point where I was just raping everybody all the time, and it was just sort of like, it wasn't enjoyable because I bought a load of cool stuff, then it's not fun. Any game I play, if I play and I win too easily, I feel cheated. I don't like, I like a good long game which is close, because that means, you've got to think about it. It's more enjoyable. And it's the same in any sort of thing. A lot of these companies, they target whacks, they target win at all costs people, because they think they want to win so much they will put full big dollar into paying for that, and that's where they get them. So there'll be the odd person like myself and Dave who just just want to play the game, just enjoy it, and then you got a load of people that go must win, and there's a lot of kids out there who, that their lives revolve around this, winning these games. My girlfriend's son, Ryan, gets very upset when he loses his games and stuff, to the point of nearly smashing his phone a couple of times. And, it's targeted for people like him, because, they want him to think that he needs to win when he doesn't need to win. Winning is a benefit. It's gravy. It makes you feel good to win and stuff, but you don't need to win. Okay, a few more comments here. Trey says, I'm not buying the new Battlefront. If we want to show, we need to show them we're tired of these things. We need to hurt their profits. I do not know how well that's going to help, but it's a start. And I think in a way that is something you need to do. People need to stop buying these games. Problem is, they are kind of cool games, and that's where you're going to get the problem. People go, I'll just buy it anyway, I'll just do it. And then everybody will have that sort of kind of, I'll just buy it anyway. And nobody will do it. Nobody will not buy them, and they'll still get their money. And Stuart says, I didn't buy the first Battlefront because they destroyed the heart of the series. Won't buy this one because of the microtransactions. Well, if
I disagree with that. I actually disagree with that. I actually really got a lot of enjoyment out of the first game. I took it for what it was. It was a skirmish multiplayer game. It was fun. It wasn't going to be anything world beating. It was what it was. I don't think it destroyed the soul of the Star Wars universe. I mean, the original games were the original games. They were great. They were so much fun. But again, they were small skirmish games. Everyone holds the games up the original games up like they're, you know, on this pedestal, and they are small skirmish games which had, you know, with the tacked on Galactic Conquest. I think at least this new game has a single player game to it with a proper narrative and a completely different aspect of the Star Wars universe. I'm very excited that if I don't buy it, I really want to hear about the storyline, because I think it's something that I would actually like to see as a film. I know we're talking about obviously all of the Star Wars films.
They said it's canon. You know, apparently, that story between
cool.
It's going to be canon, so it's going to be. Now that's where the issue is, because they get you there. They're like, you know, everybody should be taking a stand and going, "Fuck these guys! I'm not buying your microtransactions. I'm not going to buy these games if you're going to overcharge me and not finish the game." But then they kind of go, "But guys, Star Wars," and you're like, "God damn it!"
Thing is, though,
Star Wars.
I think somewhat. Didn't they say the same thing about Force Unleashed, and then that kind of got swept under the carpet?
That was before Disney took over.
That's true.
But this is another thing as well, because before Disney did buy Star Wars out, there was all these Star Wars games you heard about. There was Visceral were doing their own game, and I can't remember what studio did it, but they were doing one called Star Wars 1313, which was supposed to be about to be like about the like the real seedy underground of I believe it was Coruscant, and that game looked awesome. I was really looking forward to that one. Then 6 months after Disney bought Star Wars, they're like, "Yeah, we're cancelling that one." It's like, what? I think what they do is they want to appeal to as many people as they can. Don't get me wrong, 1313 would be an awesome game, but compared to having a massive multiplayer online game, it's a no-brainer. They're going to want to get more people in, whereas 1313 will probably appeal to maybe like 10% of what that usual audience would be.
I think the Visceral game would have been. I was super excited about it just for the fact that Amy Hennig from Naughty Dog was in charge of that. She was, you know, obviously responsible for the first 3 Uncharted games. And she was going to be driving the narrative for that, and it sounded fantastic. You know, again, it was very similar to Rogue One, and apparently, but again, because it sort of infringed into what Disney are trying to do with the Star Wars movie universe, they cancelled it. So, which is really disappointing, because I think having someone with her talent and her stature involved in the Star Wars universe, telling a wholly original story, would have been great. You're absolutely right. I mean, they're just going to go for the base. Okay, that's bring out an old, you know, a new version of an old game that was very, very popular. Polish it up, stick it out, and see what happens. Hopefully, this single player storyline is something different and it works. If it does, then that's great for the future of Star Wars gaming. If not, we're probably just going to get clones of the multiplayer game from here on out.
I just think gaming in general is in a rut. There hasn't really been anything I've been super excited about for a long time, game-wise. There's been some good games out there, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing.
That's because you have an Xbox and you don't have a PS4.
You shut your face, David. You shut your face. It's because, you know, the last Halo was a bit of a disappointment, and we don't like talking about it. So hopefully the next one will be better. But I just think in general, I was thinking about this the other day. If they're going to do a shooter, if you're going to do a first-person shooter, they need to change the formula somehow, and they need to make it sort of maybe more team-orientated. You know, a lot. What annoys me the most. And the second thing I was going to say about sort of the new Call of Duty. I know Call of Duty is you run around on your own and you shoot people, but what annoys me the most is that you're in a World War II setting, you're meant to be in the military, and you run around on your own getting killed. There's no sort of, you know, incentive for teamwork. Now, Battlefield do it a bit better in that, you know, you get points for defending things, and you get points for healing your mates, and you get points for doing things like that, which is a good idea. But I think no individual, I don't think the individual should get points. It should be a team thing. I don't know how they do it, but, you know, your squad get points for doing specific things and doing that, and then it will encourage there to be a bit more cohesion within sort of, you know, playing. One of the things that I hate the most about online gaming is the fact that if you're stuck in with a load of people that you don't know, nobody wants to give in. You know, it's like in Halo. Nobody, you know, in Halo or any of these games, you know, being beside each other and having, you know, overbearing firepower where you've got a couple of people shooting the same person, you know, you're going to win because you're going to have more shots on them and stuff like that. But people don't want to give in and they run off on their own. Nobody really wants to follow anybody around and stuff because they want to do their own thing, because I'm creative like that and I want to do my own thing, you know, that's how I roll. And it's just, it annoys me because you're just like, you know, if you want to win the game, you should do it properly, you know, and, you know, do it as a team.
Yeah, I think a good one, especially for Star Wars, if they want to obviously learn from onwards from Battlefront, is do another game similar to Rogue Squadron, but actually make that more of an MMO, because I think that's one of the best Star Wars games ever made, and that is such a great teamwork game, because you've got your team of 4, you have to work so tight together just to progress, just to get through it, and I think that'd be a game that I'd love to buy.
They just need to change. They need to change. They need to change how first-person shooters go. They need to change how MMOs play. They need to have something different. Somebody needs to come up with something different. No grind. I hate grinding. It fucking annoys me in any game. And I hate running around on my own, shooting fucking things. I like.
Did you buy Destiny 2?
Yeah, I did.
Well, why there you go then?
Yeah, it's just sort of, you know, it's just... I just want, you know, something different. I want something. Did you not think?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just want something different. I'm just getting frustrated with games in general. Do you know what I like? My ideal game would be a game like, do you remember Red Faction on the PlayStation 2?
Oh, yes.
Yes, the original, right? Now, Red Faction on the PlayStation 2, now, I'm an Xbox guy, so this is slightly sacrilege, but, you know, Red Faction was great in that you could destroy anything in it. The first one, you could literally destroy 90% of the map, and you could just fire a rocket launcher and they'd dig a big hole in the ground and stuff like that.
You can do that in Battlefront.
Yeah, I know.
Or sorry, you do that. Sorry, in Battlefield. If you look at Battlefield 1, all of the environment is totally destructible
exactly.
to frostbite.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what you do. You need something where you can literally do stuff like that. And if it means having to reduce the graphics slightly, then that's not a problem. It should be about the gameplay. But at this moment in time, it is literally graphics are king. And I've said this so many times in these podcasts. Graphics are always king, and it just means that you get an inferior game because it's all, oh look, there's some nice lighting effect, and look, oh, there's a mountain that I can't get to, and oh wait, I'm in a tank and I can't get past this dustbin because it's not meant to be destructible. So I'm literally rolling around, I can't get past this fucking dustbin, and it's annoying. And it's just like, why don't you just make a game properly and, you know, just reduce the graphics? We've got to a point now where graphics are amazing anyway. If we kept them for a few years as computers get better and just, you know, focused on AI, good AI for once, and, you know, better scenery and things where you could do a bit more within the scenery, that's why I think, what's it called, Minecraft is amazing. I could see why so many people like Minecraft, because you can do pretty much anything you want. Graphics are not important. It's all about, you know, being creative and sort of doing anything you want, and I like that idea. I like that concept. That was such a good idea, and it deserved to be such the phenomenon it is.
They're doing a Minecraft though in 4K resolution.
Is this a Minecraft Worlds thing that's going on?
Yeah, something like that. I just thought, hold on, I thought the point of Minecraft was that it's not supposed to look highly defined. It's like, well, hang on, why are you doing a 4K version?
Everything's
it's ridiculous.
Same
reason be in 4K. They did a Telltale series, because they can.
Yeah, I never played the Telltale one.
No, I didn't see the point of it. It just sort of like it's odd misstep for them.
I do like Telltale, but some of their games do go a little bit strange. Like the last Walking Dead one. I mean, I loved the first 2 Walking Dead games that they did, but number 3 was really, it was all right, but it just got so boring.
Yeah, the first one traumatized me ever so slightly. It was like I had the choice between killing a child and killing his father and stuff, and I was just like, I just don't know what to do. And at the end, I was just like, I really don't want to play this game anymore. I feel really wrong, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good example of sort of like narrative over graphics, because it had a unique art style for the time. I know that most Telltale games now follow that art style. Or have followed that idea of less is more on the visual front. But yeah, it is a visual novel, so.
Well, yeah, I just think they're, like I said, they need to change things. Things Matt says they need to do. Not so many transactions. Get a fucking finished game out. Maybe some DLC afterwards. Stop with the same old when it comes to Call of Duty games. They need to fucking think of something different next time. And you need, just something different in general. We need something different.
If they are gonna keep the randomized loot boxes, what they should do is, if you get a clone copy of something you already have, don't turn it into useless credits. Give them a free respin. Give them a free turn of the wheel to sort of like get something else they don't have. And more than likely, sort of like, as you go along and get more stuff, it's probably going to end up credits rather than the skin you want if you're so unlucky that you don't have that particular one yet. But it's much better than just trading in for credits that are less than you would get on a bog standard roll of the dice that means you get just straight credits.
Matt, have you played PUBG yet?
Oh mate, yeah. I have. I love that game.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. Because what you had said earlier on sounds a hell of a lot like PUBG, as in graphically it's not great at all. I mean, it looks a lot like a fucking PS2 games at times. But it's extremely playable. It's really balanced around teamwork. In terms of your squad, you have to play tight. It's all about sort of being intelligent in terms of what you source and your equipment that you have. Sorry, my
no, Dave and his new kitten. What's it called?
It's called Nathan Drake. So.
Look at it, amazing.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know I have played PUBG and I enjoy it, and I like the fact that everybody starts off pretty much in their underwear, and you've got to sort of pick up guns and things as you go on. I like that. It's an even footing. There is no disadvantage. Though, allegedly, now I haven't played it in a bit because I've been busy, but apparently they have brought in microtransactions for that as well.
Oh, so God.
It's sort of filtered into that too. So, sorry, a few more comments here. Stuart C says, don't allow duplicates, which I would agree with. And he also says, and be more transparent about the drop rates and allow everything to be straight up purchased with either a bit of grinding or opening the wallet, but not gambling.
Yeah, that's the thing. You should turn microtransactions back into straight old DLC, because it goes back to what you were talking about Destiny, and it reminded me about how they treated cosmetics for Destiny 2. As I understand it, there are three sort of like ways you can get cosmetics. There's the DLC method where you pay for the cosmetics. I know that exists in like RPGs and stuff, just to switch up your characters. I'm trying to work through as many Tales games as I can, and I've got Tales of Symphonia on my PC, and I know that one of the DLC packages is you can change how the main characters look if they're sort of like school children. It's Japan. But yeah, DLC.
Of course, it's school children.
DLC for cosmetics, so you buy them straight up. Then there's the loot box version where you sort of like basically spin the wheel and have the chance at getting one of the many cosmetic items that are there. And then there's the Destiny 2 version where you it's been so long since
you get engrams.
for, and you can only use them once on one certain specific part of your armor. Is that right?
Yeah, you basically get engrams, and each engram, like, you get basically different types of engrams. You get elite ones. Now, granted, Destiny's not too bad. The drop rate isn't too bad, but there is a lot of, shit. You do get a lot of shit, and that encourages you to get more, because you get stuff and you're like, oh, look, you get a really random color. You don't even get to pick the colors you want. You just get colors that sort of drop, and you can use them. Now, luckily, there was a lot of the ones I wanted, but if you wanted a different color, you might not get it. And then, they're not unlimited. You can only get so many of them, and, that is annoying. And you can get all these other things, and you're just like, I don't want that. I don't want that. All I want is this gun, or all I want is this skin and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't want to have to keep on grinding for it. I just, if I want it, fine, I'll buy it, or if I can be arsed, I'll play, whatever. But the gambling side of things is the big issue here, I think.
Have they made any improvement to it? Because I remember in Destiny 1, I haven't bought Destiny 2. I didn't actually buy it, surprisingly. But yeah, I remember in the first game, two big complaints that people had were the fact that, when you did a raid or when you did a strike, obviously what you would think is when you've got a group of players, whoever lands the most kills or whoever gains the most points should have the better
reward.
Dave's just died there. Oh no, we've lost to Dave. He's kind of the better, and he's. So I think
there was nothing. That was it.
That was it, Dave.
I think the cat's probably just Nathan Drake's just playing around the wires.
Yeah, he's gone. But yeah, when Dave's obviously gone, the drops are a bit better this time round in Destiny 2. Oh, he's gone completely now. No Dave anymore. But there you go. But yeah,
Drake has done it again.
Yeah, Drake. Damn you, Drake. He's coming back. Oh no,
it's a Dan.
It's a Dan. Dan the man. Wow, there you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's better, but it's not as good as it could be, I guess. Just in general, I think games need to change a lot. I'm getting fed up with games at this moment in time. There's nothing, like I said, PUBG, you're just right. It was something different. It was a good breath of fresh air. And they have, Steam do some good games like that, like, what's it called? Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator and things like that.
Oh, I love that game.
Random games like that, they're quite cheap. They don't pretend to be anything more than they really are, and they're enjoyable to play. And I enjoy those sort of games. I like that. It's good. I have to say, the new Total War game, Warhammer Total War 2. Now, I was slightly annoyed when I heard that they were bringing out a second one so soon after the first one, because I was just like, oh, the first one's just come out, but there was a lot of race.
I sent you a message about that. That's sort of like they had literally only just stopped with the DLC, or they'd literally just brought out a DLC pack, and then they announced the trailer, the release date for the second one, which is so soon, and just seems a bit.
What they've done is, and I've got it now. What they've done now is they've brought out the second game with the different factions in it, and they've given you a campaign for it, but, and this is very good of them, they've given you a grand campaign map with both sets. So you buy the second game, but you also get everything else on top of that for free, which is good. So you get all the races, and you can either have the different campaign map, or the original campaign map, or one that is the entire thing, which is pretty massive. And I think that's a good idea. Total War games, again. Oh, we got a Dave back again.
I'm back. Sorry, my Wi-Fi died.
We thought Nathan Drake had been sort of swinging off the cables or something.
No, well, I have another one with me now, for God's sake.
Cats everywhere.
Honestly, they're bloody everywhere.
What's this one?
Another one now. This one's called Rosie.
Oh, you got Rosie and Jim, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Rosie and Jim.
Girlfriend picked the name. She picked the name.
But yeah, Total War games again are games that kind of need to change. You know, they've been doing the same thing for a long time. And don't get me wrong, I love those games. I love that sort of game, but they've been doing the Call of Duty type thing. They've been keeping to what they know for a long time, and there needs to be a change. There needs to be, like, I'm not saying something massive, but they need to start gradually changing and doing a bit more and progressing their IP and progressing the game franchise, and then maybe, but you know, in 10 years' time, go back to that sort of thing. You know, because it's refreshing. But at this moment in time, everything seems a bit stale to me, and it's upsetting me about games, and I'm not playing as many because of it.
Yeah, and it's kind of one of the reasons why I've gotten into the habit of not buying a game as soon as it comes out. I wait until all the DLC has come out, and then when they release like the collected edition, where they group everything in, all the pre-order shit and all the DLC that's come out in drips and dregs, and they just bundle it all together in one neat little package that you can play with and choose.
Told you, bring back cartridges. Bring back cartridges and that, you know, that's it. Oh, you're sandwiched there, John Joe. Sandwiched by two video men, you know. You're in the middle there, you know. Dave on your left, Daniel on your right. Ooh.
Are we starting going to some other weird topic again?
The double D.
Jesus.
Everybody in the conversation is...
Anybody who's listening to this is like, what the hell are you talking about?
Last time I was on, we had Mike doing his sex talk with Godzilla. That was freaky enough.
There's another cat. Dave's got many cats.
I do.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's been taken over now.
When
I open my door and they're all pouring in now. It's like...
when I move in with my missus, there's going to be 3. So, you know, it's just going to be interesting. She's trying to get a Pomeranian at this moment in time. And I'm like, no. God. I was like, why have a small dog when you've got cats? It's just like, what's the point? I want a big bear dog. I want like a Newfoundland or a Caucasian Shepherd. They're basically born to like fight bears, you know. They're like massive dogs. I want a big ass dog. I don't want a Pomeranian or
Pomeranians are too yappy. They're really irritating little shits.
something that's going to go in my purse. I don't want. She's like, oh, but I can bring it into work with me, and I'm like, why? Just get a. That's what cats are for. If you want a cat, they're disobedient. They don't give a shit, and they're, you know, they just sort of, you know.
You're going to be left walking it, man. That's the problem, you know?
Yeah, it's just...
Oh, God, can you imagine, like, you got this 6 foot tall Northern Irishman walking this dog that's about 3 inches tall?
Oh, mate, mine and Dave's mate, Russell, he has two pugs. And he's 6'3", built like a brick shithouse, big beardy guy, and he has a Chug, which is basically a Chihuahua and a pug,
yeah.
And he has a Dachshund / pug as well. One's called Genghis. It's just like he calls him his little gentleman and stuff because he loves those dogs, but they are tiny and it's hilarious. It's just like just seeing him, you know, big beardy Irishman walking down the road with these 2 little pugs. You know, it's hilarious, man.
Oh, good God.
I was just trying to think, just sort of like bring it back to microtransactions.
Sarah Jade Stevenson, would that be your Mrs. Davids?
That would be my missus, yeah.
She says, I want the Pomeranian too. I also have 4 cats and a husky, though.
No Pomeranians.
You've got a small zoo in there, Dave.
No. This house will be a cattery if she has her way.
Yeah, well, there's some good money in that. You know, my granny used to run a cattery, so yeah, good money in it because everybody's always wanted to put their cats in jail. So yeah. Right, okay, we've been on for nearly an hour and a half now, so we're going to probably have to cut it to an end. So, has anybody else got any final thoughts before we go?
Yeah, I've got one, because obviously tomorrow's quite a busy day. You've got the release of Justice League, you've got the new Star Wars game, but also, if you are a Netflix subscriber, you do have The Punisher.
Yes! Cannot
wait. I've seen the first 15 minutes of episode 1, and I tell you what, it looks like it's going to be the best series out of them all. It's just so good.
The issue is that Disney apparently are going to be taking away all of the toys and making you subscribe.
I've heard slightly different. What they're going to do is they've sorted out something where Netflix are keeping all the shows. They're just not allowed to add any new characters.
Yeah.
Okay.
But some reason Netflix are now, obviously they've just finished shooting Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and they're going to have Daredevil and Iron Fist season 2 shooting at the same time. So it looks like we're going to have 4 shows next year.
Well, as long as Iron Fist is an improvement, because it was fucking boring, man. I like Finn Jones. I've met him. I've interviewed him. You know, he's a great guy. But Iron Fist was fucking boring. That was just.
Although, I will say Jessica Henwick, who plays Colleen Wing, probably one of my favourite characters in that whole Marvel Netflix universe. I think she is fantastic.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Right, guys. We're going to have to bail now because Matt has to go back and do some painting because he has to have all his little tiny soldiers painted for the weekend or he doesn't get extra points.
Matthew.
No, I'm such a nerd.
Matt, I have to say, if Justice League is as big a disaster as people are making it out to be, are you going to be heartbroken that your precious Superman is going to be
Dave, it's not going to be. It's not going to be because I'm hearing mixed things about it. As long as it's not super shit, then I'm okay. Okay, as long as it's not, as long as it's better than Batman vs Superman, which was the extended edition was better. As long as it's better than that, I'll be happy because you know.
Well, by this time tomorrow, I would have seen it, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, it's going to be decent. I'm not expecting a 9 out of 10 film. I'm not even expecting an 8 out of 10 film. I'm expecting a film that when I've watched it, I go, yeah, that was fine. It wasn't disastrous, but it was good.
Yeah. It's the kind of film you want to go to and you want to sort of like come away from and go, that was the Justice League I wanted to see as a child. That was sort of like the Justice League on the big screen because we've had the really good cartoon, Justice League Unlimited with the Bruce Timm universe. I really loved those as a kid. The idea of that as a movie really interested me. The Avengers, you never have imagined that to have come into the scene, and then suddenly it was a huge success. Justice League, I'm not expecting it to be as huge a success as everyone the Avengers had to be, but I want to come away from it feeling, yeah, that wasn't a waste. That was something that I think young Dan would have wanted to sort of like to see the Justice League come together on the big screen to kick ass.
Well, they've said, from what I've read some, it's not reviews because they had a review embargo and they've had sort of you're not allowed to have sort of reviews at the minute, but tweets and people who've seen it.
The Guardian slated it yesterday.
Did they? There was meant to be
a
review.
The embargo finished Wednesday.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. I haven't read any reviews. I've seen some tweets.
Rotten Tomatoes delayed their score on purpose, apparently, at WB's request.
Not a good sign.
Yeah, that's never good.
It's basic from what I've been told from the things I've seen on Twitter and from people who've seen it. It's not amazing, but the characters are really shown well, and it's got a bit of humor in it. There's a few obviously story plot holes, and the main sort of what's his name, Steppenwolf, isn't really the best, but they say each character on his own are great, and it's quite funny, and it's a massive step in the right direction. It's not perfect, but it's a step in the right direction. So as long as it's like, say it again.
Sorry, I haven't been on for about a month or so, but. So I know I wouldn't have gotten to talk about it when you guys were probably discussing it, but do you think it's suffering for the fact that it's coming out a couple of weeks after Ragnarok, which was incredible?
Ragnarok was too funny for me. It was hilarious. I have to admit, it was great, but it kind of took the edge off it slightly. I enjoyed it, I really did, but I thought they could have toned down the laughter ever so slightly because it seemed like they were doing a sort of like, this is hilarious. I'm basically the new Guardians of the Galaxy. I know, but the thing is, there was bits in it where you wanted something. It's the second best
Marvel movie after Winter Soldier.
No.
Well, I would put it in my top 5, but the only thing is, I think I mean, Thor Ragnarok, I would say is a 9 out of 10 film for me. But I think what would have made it better is if the first two movies had a bit more humour and weren't as mopey or as dreary or as just crap.
I liked the first Thor.
First one was fine.
Bitterly disappointed. Although sort of like actually tying that in with the Justice League, wasn't there some controversy about Joss Whedon liking a tweet which basically said Steppenwolf is the worst movie villain since Malekith, and everyone who's following sort of like his Twitter got this update that Joss Whedon has liked this tweet.
Sorry, have they not seen Doomsday in Batman v Superman? That is the worst villain. Fucking hell. Malekith,
that was a cameo. He's coming back.
I know.
No.
We're gonna. I tell you what. We'll all go back and we'll all watch Justice League and we can talk about it. Maybe next week or something. But we're on an hour and a half now, and and people are probably getting bored of us yabbering on. So
we'll make it a chance to see it. We'll all be too busy playing Star Wars Battlefront 2 and opening all our loot boxes.
Basically opening all our loot.
Exactly.
Punisher.
Yeah, watching all our opening up all our loot boxes, spending all our money, and
getting bossed by 16-year-old.
Anyway, okay, so we'll leave it there for now, and then we'll get back to sort of Thor and Justice League and stuff next time. Hopefully when everybody's seen it, we can have a bit more of a conversation about it. So thank you very much everybody for listening. Thank you very much if you've downloaded this on iTunes, on Google Play, or you've been watching on YouTube or Facebook. And to everybody who has commented, thank you very much for joining in. Every week we're the same thing. It's on live. It'll probably be on. It's usually Tuesdays, sometimes Thursdays, depending on when everybody's free. But it's roughly about the same time, 8, 9 o'clock, generally 9 o'clock. So yeah, come join us. Join in. So on that, I'm going to say good night. So I've been Matt Geary. Dave has been Dave.
See ya.
Jojo has been Jojo.
For about 50% anyway.
And Daniel has been Steve.
Yeah, I got the bad loot box. Just didn't get the damn.
Gonna trade that shit in, Dave. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night. See you later.